Episode 6, Blood and Fire. The door flung open. Indira flinched slightly, but tried to hide it. What took you so long? I could ask you the same thing. It's time for you to leave. Hurry up or we're all going to get in trouble. Indira yelled for her daughter to be quicker and returned her attention to her bag. She asked anxiously, How much time do we have? If my brothers get suspicious, blood will be spilled. No one will be spared, not even you. They won't dare touch me. What am I, a stranger? Nothing is more important to the Dubays than loyalty, and by fleeing India, you are stabbing Devdos in the back. I'm not so crazy as to sacrifice my children. And if the child that everyone is talking about will be born, he'll be a vessel for pure evil. I don't want that. Vimal shook his head. A few dark curls fell over his young face. You cannot escape fate. Kali Yuga will begin, which means the child will be born. Indira threw her things in the bag irritably, then turned sharply to Vimal. Whose side are you on? First you agreed that we need to escape, then you justify that maniac. Make up your mind. Calm down. I am begging you to hurry. Devdos will spare no resources to find you. You have to do something about him. With every passing day he looks less like himself. This bloodlust. The burden he carries as the head of family forces his hand. You know that. I know only one thing. I will not put my children into the tiger's mouth. Then leave all these useless rags. Call Jyotsna and flee Calcutta immediately. If Devdas catches you, he will do anything to get things into motion so that the Brahmin's prophecy is fulfilled. Indira just pursed her lips. If Kali Yuga comes with the birth of a child, then the child cannot be born. I woke up when we hit another bump. For the first couple seconds, I couldn't figure out where I was. A moment ago, I was standing in the Basu family home, and now I was in a car. Killian was driving. Everyone else stared out the windows in silence. The closer we got to the village, the thicker the heavy storm clouds became. For this trip, I had chosen to dress as comfortably as possible. Outfit choices time. Comfortable outfit, convenience and style, simple outfit. We'll go with this one. I like the music. And I had fixed my hair. No, I didn't. Really quick and easy, my ass. You literally had to dye your hair and everything. Well, at least do that. For now. Young Vimal helped Grandma escape, but for some reason he chose not to tell me about it. Maybe he was worried that Devdos would find out, or that Amrit would sense my nervousness and tell his father. The Dubey brothers played an important role in the past, but I don't believe anything was just a simple act of kindness. What child were they talking about? They spoke as if Kali Yuga would only begin after their birth. Is this what Ratan kept saying, mine and Amrit's baby? I touched my stomach, worried. During Durga Puja, we weren't careful enough. What if the prophecy comes true? Amrit knew what we were destined to do. This was all premeditated, no doubt about that. He said that the Devdos and Indra were close. Does this mean that they were romantically involved? Is this why Grandma was sure that Devdos wouldn't harm her? I ran my fingers through my hair and sighed, irritated. Priyanka was also helping them escape. I wish I could just ask her more about it, but I don't want to have anything more to do with her. Even though she tried to deny it, I'm sure that Priyanka plays an essential role in the sect. That's why Aryan didn't let Jaya attend Santa's wedding. He knew that Devdas was going to kill Manu. They knew what would happen. As Sana said, everything had been carefully planned. This is the kind of cruelty Grandma was talking about. Their thirst for blood started 20 years ago. I won't be surprised if the knife used to kill Manu is suspiciously similar to Kaldasa, the Dube's ritual blade. I need to ask Amrit to show it to me. You know what the murder weapon looks like. Lima broke the silence. What's the sweet scent? It reminds me of the iced tea I used to drink when I was little. I can smell it too. Ah, must be my perfume. Smells lovely. Please, stay close to me next time we find a rotting corpse. Your friendship with everyone has improved. We're almost there, right? Yes, but it's all suspiciously quiet, don't you think? The last time we approached the village, there were people and noise everywhere. Looking in the sky warily, I caught a glimpse of a flying bird. At first I thought it might have been an owl again, an omen of death, and the bird landed on a tree, and I realized it was a raven. Even before we managed to park, we all noticed that there was something wrong with the village. Yeah, the sand is no longer sand, and everything's been burned. It was completely empty, old, as if it had been abandoned for years. Looks like a ghost town. Are you sure we're in the right place? We got out of the car looking around in confusion. Gabriel, who had never been there before, raised his eyebrows. Is this the village? But it's in ruins. It was different last time. People lived here. And where are they gone? I noticed Kieran touching his head and wincing. His eyes were bloodshot. Maybe they left the place immediately after our visit? Gillian crouched, looking at the derelict houses. He frowned. I don't understand a bloody thing. It looks like no one lived here for many years now. But we were here less than a month ago. A sense of dread was building up inside me. I was ready to believe anything. This one's a tough one. Alright, so we must have gone the wrong way. No. No one lived here? Clearly someone did. There's houses. They must have fled. Let's try that one. They must have felt threatened by our arrival. They were afraid of having said too much. This happened before. And how do you explain the fact that everything is old and dilapidated? You can make that happen. The village's architecture didn't look particularly sound last time already. Everything looked pretty simple, didn't it? Maybe. Again, it looks like everything was burned. Let's split up and take a look around. Whoa, you can't be serious. Hell no. Until we figure out what happened here, I won't move more than an inch from your side. Stop whining. What are you, a kid? How do we know what awaits us here? Do you want us all killed one by one? You have a vivid imagination. Support Gabriel. Support Lima. I'm gonna support Lima. I agree that we shouldn't split up. We don't know what awaits us in the village. I agree. Why are you getting yourselves all worked up? There's no one around. How can you be so sure? Miss, I don't know what to call you anymore. You're causing unnecessary panic. Think what you want. I don't want us to split up. We can't possibly tell whether someone is waiting for us here or not. Are you afraid of the big bad wolf? Yeah, I agree with her. Killian intervened. Stop it, Grant. You're not in charge here. But apparently I'm the only one who hasn't lost his mind. You know, let's stop arguing. Or go alone. I'm gonna go, let's stop arguing. That's not why we came here. Since not all of us agreed to split up, let's not do that. This village is tiny. Looking around will take us 15 minutes at most. Gabriel didn't say anything. He crossed his arms and looked somewhere into the side. We started walking around. The ravens' calls became louder. After passing a few more dilapidated houses, we found another abandoned street. The ground was charred, the houses were in ruins, the overgrowth was with weeds. People had left this place, and nature had taken over. We exchanged glances. Killian ruffled his hair, puzzled. It was clear to everyone that something had happened here. But when? Suddenly, I heard an almost imperceptible whisper. I turned around, but I couldn't see anything. It was a barely audible one, and I couldn't make out the words, or maybe it was a familiar headache I used to get in this place that was driving me insane. Yes, I agree. With what? With Amala. This is a cursed place. I didn't say anything. Everyone looked at Kieran. He looked slightly embarrassed, and for a moment later he said, "Oh, I only meant to say the whole place looks definitely abandoned." He tried to talk his way out of it, but I know there's something wrong with him. There's no point in just wandering around. We need to do something. I think we should find Mahavir the Brahmin. Yeah, we'll go with that. Do you remember that old man who lives on the outskirts of town? Even if the villagers were threatened by something and fled, no one would dare harm a Brahmin. Maybe he's still here and will tell us what happened. I remember him, yes. Let's go. As we approached the small building, we were greeted by a smell that had become way too familiar during our time here. It reeks of decay, not a good sign. I noticed the ravens on the way here. I stopped Kieran from entering by raising my hand. I didn't want him to go any further. That's not fair. It's not up for discussion. You stay here and don't come near the house. There's nothing for you to see there. You promised to do whatever I tell you. Will you keep your word? He didn't answer, scoffing and crossing his arms, but he did stop walking. Without saying a word to each other, we began to look for the source of the smell. We were looking for a body. A painful thought hit me. What if someone had attacked the villagers and we were going to find their bodies one by one? But that was not how things turned out to be. What the? We turned to the sound of Gabriel's voice. He was standing on the other side of the house, staring intently ahead. Kieran craned his neck from a distance. I walked to Gabriel on stiff legs. Is there really a dead body? What makes you think that? Stay there and be quiet. You just sit... forget it. Kieran abruptly stopped talking. I was starting to get really worried, but first I had to go to Gabriel. A frightened gasp escaped my lips when my worst assumption proved correct. Oh. What? What is it? Is it a dead body? Stay where you are. The mutilated, decapitated body of the Brahmin lay against a blood-smeared wall painted with the Caligor symbol. I covered my mouth with a hand and backed away a couple of steps. Killing a Brahmin? Who dared to offend the gods like that? Is there an actual dead person there? Oh, Lord Christ, Kieran. Shut up and you'd be able to hear he asked. Neiman Gabriel looked at the body, disheartened. Do they even care about things like that? You don't understand. They kill for religious reasons, and there's nothing worse than attacking the highest caste of the enlightened. Well, apparently there is. Everything is as per usual. Naked, decapitated with a mark or a number? Grimacing in disgust, Gabriel touched the corpse a couple of times to find the number. I smiled bitterly. 7. The Righteous. This is the work of Devdas Dubé, the sect, of course. They are descendants of the Brahmins themselves. To kill one of their own, they must have a good reason. It was marked on the calendar at the end of the last month. He was killed just recently. This is the 7th victim. Because you broke into Deputy's office, you know that killing a Brahmin was part of the plan. Gabriel backed away, looking at me questioningly. I think I need your help. There are too many symbols to just be one number. We all crouched next to each other, when Gabriel pointed to the old man's cold, pale, gray hand. The letters were scratched into his skin with some sort of improvised tool, and it was done while he was still alive. It was clear because of the blood that had coagulated near the wounds as they were inflicted. What did you find? If you won't let me look, at least tell me. It's Bengali. The message. Take a look. I stared at the symbols until the meaning dawned on me. Recoiling, I whispered, Messiah. What? I cleared my throat and said louder, Messiah. That's what it says. What's that supposed to mean? Is it addressed to us? For the one who starts it all. What? Kira, are you feeling alright? Every time I say something, you all start staring at me. I'll shut up then. There's something wrong with him. I can't let him out of my sight. Or you could talk to him and ask him what he's meaning. What was the Brahmin trying to tell us? Were they waiting for someone? Messiah, it's like a messenger. So I suppose. It fits into what I dreamed about on the way here. Vimal and Grandma were discussing a baby. Kier said for the one who starts it all. Is that a reference to the fact that I'm destined to become a mother? Wait, why am I even thinking about my brother's words? A child who could become the start of it all, but whose child? Mine? Amrit's? The one the Basus and the Dubés expected from our union? Everything looks pretty straightforward. The members of the sect came here, frightening the people into leaving, and killed a poor old man. I don't think it's that straightforward at all. Why would they scare the people? They've been more subtle so far, so why kill the old man? He should have been off limits. If there was any hopes for this place, they have just vanished. We need to call our people here. Get them to take the body. Kieran turned a little pale. He put on a brave face, but he clearly wasn't coping too well with it. I know what else we should check. Vaisha's house. Maybe we'll find him there. Who are you talking about? Your old lousy guide? Killian and Lima realized what I was getting at. They knew what role Ratan had played in the Temple of Durga back then. Kieran knew that too. Mr. Vaish? The very same Mr. Vaish? Yes, it makes sense. And this. He nodded at the Brahmin. Let's leave it for now. He won't go anywhere. With one last glance at the bloody symbol, we walked away. I wasn't even surprised when Ratan's house appeared in front of us untouched. The whispers in my head grew quieter. Killing a Brahmin is one thing, taking a swing at a god is quite another. Even Amrit is not arrogant enough to do something like that. He'd get struck by lightning for even thinking of meddling with the divine. I don't know. What the hell? This seems to be the only building that's left standing. Building? More like a shack or something. Karen looked doubtfully at the house as if he didn't want to walk in. Everything is exactly like last time. I can't say that I'm surprised. After inspecting the ground, and since no one answered the door, it became clear. We were completely alone there. There was no point in holding back any longer, so we entered the house, the familiar house. It was starting to get dark. Not bad for a place that's otherwise in ruins. I'm gonna get out of here before night falls. We're not going to stay here, are we? There's no point in staying, since there isn't anything for us to find. Maybe there is, though. All the most terrible things happen at night. How uplifting and encouraging. Now I agree with Lima. Stop being a coward. I understand how you feel. It has to be done. I'm not gonna call my brother a coward. It has to be done. Whether we like it or not, all the answers lie in the darkness. That is, here. We know that the residents disappeared for a reason. It was not an accident. We have to keep digging, otherwise this was all for nothing. So what, we wait here until it gets dark? This is nonsense. Normally, Killen would have undoubtedly been as skeptical as Grant, but recent events had completely changed most of the group's opinion on what was going on in Calcutta. Something terrible happened here. It's obvious. People do not usually disappear without a trace. I want to find out where they are. Why do you put their fate before your own safety and ours? Because the dead want to be heard. If we leave everything like this, we'll get heard. An hour later, the sky went dark. Gillian, Lima, and Kieran were warming up the food they had brought with them while chatting with each other. I was lying on the couch trying to fight a headache. Gabriel was sitting nearby, watching me. Are you feeling sick? Yes, I always get sick here. Why? Are you worried about me? Yes. If you feel sick, why the hell did we stay here? I don't see the logic in your decision. It doesn't make any sense to me. I sighed wearily, looking at Grant. Be friendly. Didn't you ask for my help? You want to get closer to the Dubé, right? Please do as I asked. Next time I will reciprocate and do the same. Grant didn't say anything at first. Although I don't really understand what we're doing here, I'm just as tense as you are. I doubt that. He lowered his voice a little. I know Lightwood and Berg well. They are not acting like themselves. Lightwood seems to be preparing for something. He's anxious and withdrawn. That's not a good sign, and Lima is not her usual calm and collected self. She seems lost. Their reaction bothers me a lot more than some abandoned village. Of course, he couldn't care less about the missing villagers. Don't be sarcastic, Amala. It's not the time. Earlier, you didn't know what to call her. Miss KH, Miss AM, like, you didn't know what to call her. Now it's Amala. I think he's just trying to talk to me, to get to understand each other. Your friendship has improved. My headache was getting worse. I started massaging my temples to calm the ringing in my ears. Damn, it's happening again. It really drained me last time. Turning my head to the side to stretch my neck, I saw my reflection in the window. I looked exhausted and... wait. Huh? In the reflection, I was in a completely different place. I couldn't believe my eyes. I saw a dirty, damp, dilapidated room. I looked around, perplexed. The room was clean, dry, tidy. Everything looks the same here, but everything was completely different, as if I was looking at two entirely different places, or at the same place, but many years apart. I started to feel really scared. As soon as I noticed this eerie detail, the chorus of voices in my head began to speak louder and more insistently. Damn it, my head is going to split in two. Wait, what did Raton teach me? Not to run away from the call, but respond to it. To relax, to let the voices speak to me. I got up from the sofa, turned to leave. Kieran, who was munching on a sandwich, called out to me. Mala, where are you going? Just to get some fresh air. Are you okay? Aside from the fact that we're here, yeah, I guess. Good, stay there. I won't be a moment. I have a headache. With that, I left. The night air pleasantly cooled my skin. Closing my eyes, I listened to the unintelligible muttering inside my mind. I know you're here, gathered around, trying to reach me. There, Now I'm standing here in front of you. Take me where you need. Show me everything. I remembered something else Raton told me. My sickness was the result of lost souls being drawn to me. They'd been killed in the yellow part of the forest, and now they were wandering in search of someone to cling to. I was like a beacon for them, which they found would follow as long as possible. Pri had also told me that. You know the reason for your headache. Rage of Goddess. The voices echoed from the forest as if black treetops were the ones calling me. Normally I would have thought it unsafe to venture in there, but nothing had felt normal since we had arrived in that village. My feet carried me to the woods. Killing is gonna murder me. If the ghosts or whatnot in the woods don't get you first. It was disturbingly, unnaturally quiet. I could hear where the snapping twigs under my shoes. As soon as I set foot in the forest, the voices in my head went silent. Stumbling forward, I peered into the darkness. My heart sank when a silhouette appeared before my eyes. Scared, I froze for a moment, but I still took a few timid steps towards it. This is kind of cool. Like, it's moving, but then, you know, it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Nothing, a bush swaying in the wind. Stupid coward. That was no bush, ma'am. I need to stop being scared. Be careful. Turn around and leave. I'm going to be careful. I want to say stop being scared, but... you know what? Stop being scared. If I flinch at every rustle, what will happen when I actually find what I came here for? I'll have a heart attack. I clench my fists and listen. I close my eyes, trying to focus on any noise. I heard the beating of my heart. Quiet. Measured. Then it got a little faster than usual. The pace was actually getting faster by the second. I looked ahead. Dozens of eyes were now staring right at me. Needy, hungry, getting under my skin and making an itch in disgust. Hazy silhouettes with burning eyes were all around me. A cold draft rushed at my ankles, and I caught a glimpse of movement nearby. A frightened gasp got stuck in my throat, and I couldn't make a sound. I had to make an effort to shake myself off and whisper, "Who are you?" If they were waiting for me, maybe this is it. It must be. I stepped back, and the silhouettes came closer. Silent, faceless. Smoke was trailing behind them like a cape. It wasn't fog, but actual smoke. I could smell the burned wood. They got even closer, and I suddenly realized I was their main target. Having lured me into the forest, separating me from the others, from the living, these creatures were finally able to get to me. I didn't know whether they meant to hurt me, or were simply following me. But then, ugly holes opened up under their empty, horrible eye sockets. The creatures howled as if in pain, or boiling with rage. My instinct was telling me one thing: run. This was not what I expected to see or feel. A cold panic washed over me. It took me a moment to turn around and rush away. I ran as fast as I could, my own breathing drowning out any other sound. The world around me blurred into an endless stream. In front of me, I could only see a small dot, the place I was running to. Speed up. Adrenaline pumped through my body, and I pushed myself harder, running faster than I ever did in my life. Blood was pounding in my temples as my mind kept saying, "Run, run, run." I got respect for that. Nifty. Meanwhile, you can now play as Kieran and learn new information. Why not? Let's see what Kieran has to say. Meanwhile, at Kieran's house, which forced him to act. He was sitting there enduring a splitting headache. He had been feeling awful for the last couple of days. His thoughts muddled. Kieran could not tell the difference between reality, dreams, or rather nightmares. He closed his eyes, trying not to show his discomfort. Everyone had already enough problems of their own. My head is going to explode. I don't understand. Maybe I've gone completely deaf? I think Mala's talking to me, but then she actually isn't, and either I'm crazy or I need to get my hearing checked. It all started as soon as we got here. There's something seriously wrong with this place. It smells of burning, decay, death. Mr. Vaish said that I can't have any visions like Mala. Then what the hell's going on with me? Where did these whispers come from? He looked at his hands and saw that they were shaking. His skin was beading in a sweat, and he felt like he was running a fever. I'm going to get some air. Is that okay? No. But I'm feeling hot. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to get some air. Kieran, can you just... What's wrong with you? What do you mean? He looked in his own reflection in the window to try and see what Killian was seeing. Killian was referring to the bloodshot eyes and the dark circles under them, but Kieran saw something completely different. The hell? What's the matter? So he can see visions too, so they were wrong. He rushed out of the house. Everyone followed him. As he was trying to breathe in the cool night air, Kieran noticed the smell of something burning. A gentle hand touched his shoulder. Hey, are you alright? Are you having a panic attack? No, I just... Tell them about the voices. Keep quiet. Tell them about the voices, why not? I feel like I'm going crazy. My head is buzzing, and I keep hearing a constant whisper in my ears. A whisper? Yes, and I'm well aware that you can't hear it, and maybe Mala can't either. She complained of a headache. Do your migraines run in your family? No way, only madness runs in our family. Kieran shrugged off Lima's hand. Normally, he wouldn't have reacted that way, but the pain was eating away at his strength, leaving only unbearable frustration. Lima was understanding. Killian intervened. Don't get angry, we believe you, but where's Amala? Yes, actually. Where did she go? What's that? Everyone turned their heads in the same direction and saw scarlet flames burning on the horizon. There's a fire in the distance. Maybe Amala's there? Well, of course. What else would she be bloody be? Hell, we can't leave Kieran here. I can handle it, I promise. I won't leave your side. Let's go find her. We better walk on the side of the forest. Everyone agreed, and they left the house. The edge of the forest was close. I was only a few feet away from it. I felt a cold blast of air. They were catching up to me. Suddenly I noticed a fiery red glow in the sky like a sunrise. Or a fire. I began to choke, now tasting ash, acrid smoke on my tongue instead of fresh forest air. What the hell? I seemed to be in the direction of the village where my friends were. In my final sprint, I had to get past a thick layer of ivy that covered the ground. Dodge it, jump over it, trip over it, stop. I'll jump over it. At the right moment, I jumped over the intricate and lush overgrown plant. Finally, I managed to get out of the forest. As soon as the air around me warmed up and I realized that I was no longer being chased, my adrenaline crashed. My body felt as heavy as lead and I was exhausted. My legs gave out and I fell to the ground. Rocks and roots immediately scratched my face and hands. Holy shit. The others who had been searching for me all this time found me in that state. Amala. What the... Killian suddenly stopped talking, noticing how I looked. I was breathless, terrified. My hair was tousled, my eyes wild. There was What were you doing in the bloody forest? Let her catch her breath. We'll talk later. If she is here, what's going on over there? Over there? What are you looking at? I was trying to calm my breathing. Lima pointed somewhere to the side. You were gone for a long time. We came out to look for you, and there. She pointed at the glow and smoke that were coming from the distance. We saw a fire. We thought you'd... That's when we heard your scream from the forest. God, you almost gave me a heart attack. Scream? I don't even remember screaming. Where did that fire come from? Probably some kind of arson to make us leave. It's a plausible guess, considering how much the locals hate the British. We need to go check it out. Without waiting for an answer, he led us in that direction. Killian followed him, but not before glaring at me worried. The closer we got, the more suffocating the smell of smoke became. Suddenly, there was a smoldering coal dotted on the ground. I stopped, looked around warily, knowing that it was impossible for it to be real fire, but the smell of burning intensified. The air was much warmer, and it really felt like a fire was burning somewhere nearby. Yet, from what we could see, that was not true. It was impossible, but we were still at a good distance from the orange glow. No, something is wrong. My arms and legs feel limp. Am I really going to pass out right now? I thought that maybe I was having another vision, but everyone's frightened faces said otherwise. Can you smell it? Something really is burning. Do you see it too? What do you mean, too? Suddenly Gabriel's eyes widened in horror. He started looking around. Ah, so you can see it now too, Gabriel. What is that? Oh, not again. Shadows began to thicken around us. They were the same ones that had been chasing me in the forest. I wanted to say something to calm everyone down, but suddenly I realized that I was also scared to death. Killian recovered first. He pulled out his gun, stood in front of me and Lima and Kieran. He moved his arm in a protective gesture. Grant, just don't stand there. Can't you see that things are getting out of hand? But what is this? What are these creatures? Shut your mouth and take your gun out. Killian moved roughly in the shoulder, shoved him roughly in the shoulder, trying to bring him back to his senses. Keep your questions for later. Come on, wake up. Gabriel, please. Slap him in the face. Come on, wake up. This is not the time to just stand there. But Grant didn't seem to hear us. Wheezing, he clawed at his throat, his eyes opened wide. What the hell? Okay. Oh, God! He fell to his knees as if he was having a seizure. Gillian swore under his breath and said, Never mind. Get behind me. The shadows were thickening, howling louder. There was something heartbreaking in their screams, full of pain and suffering. I blinked several times, my eyes stinging because of the smoke. My head is going to explode. Holding him closer to me, I squinted, trying to see something. Right at that moment, we were blinded by a bright burst of flames. The shadow's howl was replaced by a chorus of human voices. There were cries of pain, screams of panic. There was complete chaos around us. People in local clothes were rushing back and forth. Someone was lying face down on the ground. Someone else was pressing on their own wounds, gushing with blood. People didn't seem to notice us, preoccupied with their own tragedy. It's because I think the ghosts are showing you what happened. Killian was so startled that he lowered his weapon and just stared at what was happening around us. Lima clung to me, staring at the scene unfolding in front of our eyes. I have nothing to do with them. No, not the kids. Shut your mouth, you filthy rat, or cut off your tongue. The man tried to run, but the attacker roughly grabbed by his clothes, pulled at him, and knocked the victim to the ground. Die,
traitor!
No, I'm not! A quick slash of the blade, and the black liquid splattered to the ground. You'll pay for it. Do this. He trembled, his eyes glazed over, and he fell dead. Kieran clung to my arm, petrified as his breath kept getting faster. What's going on here? What's... Ah! Grant kept shaking and twisting in pain. Are they real? Can they see us? Probably not. No! I met my daughter! The woman roared in terror, trying to get to someone, but another man grabbed her by her hair. Where are you going? She immediately fell on her knees before him. Please, Master, have mercy. I didn't even know them. We lived quietly. We respected the laws. You're a rotten apple, like the bitches in your family. She didn't even have time to respond. Lima flinched next to me. No. The blade went through. It finally dawned on me. Fire, massacre, an act of revenge. It's a blood feud. A treacherous betrayal. The price of their escape. I want to go with a blood feud. Mom and Grandma betrayed Devdas Dubé, and he sent his people to take revenge. What are you talking about? We're looking at the past, at the revenge taken for my family leaving. I don't understand. Mom and Grandma? There you are! I nearly jumped out of my skin when an icy hand squeezed my shoulder from behind and roughly turned me around. Everyone turned around at once, too, recoiled when they saw the dead, disfigured woman. Her throat was slit open, and her lips were black and clotted with blood. Her eyes were empty, angry. Have you come to atone for your sins? It's too late. We're all dead here. How long? 23 years. Get away from her. Gillian fired a few pointless shots, and Ronnie just grinned wickedly. You don't deserve to live. We were killed, so you also need to die in the ground with us. You should feed the worms. Her strong fingers snatched me away from the others. Gillian and Lima tried to help me, but they were thrown away by an unknown force. They both fell down, only Kieran remained unharmed. Amala, stay where you are, don't move. I'm going to put a bullet through you. Don't. You can hit Amala. Shoot, don't shoot. Shoot. Come on, Killian. You sure? Go on, and I'll hit you right in the head. Gillian hesitated for a second and then pulled the trigger several times. I squeezed my eyes shut. Ah! You can kill whatever it is. Ronnie's grip loosened slightly, but she still was holding me. I felt like I was being dragged, not only by Ronnie, but by dozens of invisible hands. Gabriel, who was on his knees, suddenly hissed. All their deaths are on your conscience. Your hands are covered in blood. Your hands are covered in blood. There's no place for you on Earth, especially for him. Grant stood up in an instant and grabbed Kieran. No. I started struggling. I have to protect Kieran. This thought gave me new energy, and I rushed to protect my brother. I panicked. Well, this is kind of a given. We're gonna rush and protect our brother. I pushed Ronnie away and rushed to Kieran with the last drop of strength. Grant blocked my way, but I punched him in the face. His head tilted back, blood started gushing from his nose, trickling on me. I pushed him again and collapsed on top of him. I was desperate, frantic. I was ready to do anything to protect Kieran. Get away from my brother. We collapsed on the damp, charred ground. I thought we already collapsed just before that. Mala, don't! Kieran wanted to run to me, but I immediately barked. Away! Run away! No! Gabriel tried to get up, but I grabbed him by his throat and yanked him towards me. You stay down, I'm ready to kill for him. Kieran didn't dare approach us, but he didn't run away either. He stood there staring at me in terror, shaking all over. Stupid girl. All the women in your family are so stupid. Who are you talking? Who are you to talk to me like that? While we were distracted, Kieran had picked up a stick and smashed it on Gabriel's legs with all of his strength. My brother and Christ. Grant swore and jerked away. Kieran grabbed my arm and pulled me towards him. Come on, come here. I got up and hugged my brother tightly. His heart was pounding like crazy. You're an idiot. You put yourself in danger. I told you to run. Then we're both idiots. A wave of ice-cold air washed over us again. I knew that the unknown creatures were approaching. Turning around, I channeled all the rage I felt at the thought that they could hurt my brother into a commanding scream. Go away, stupid animals. My voice alone was enough to make some of the creatures freeze. Kieran couldn't believe his eyes. I felt a wave of powerful, life-giving energy wash over me. Don't go near him. Ever. Otherwise, I will destroy you. You already have the skills to fight the supernatural, so you can fight back more effectively. Kieran was unharmed. The confusion continued. People were running around screaming and sobbing. But there was someone conducting this whole horrific orchestra. A figure was walking around at a stately pace, his face obscured by a hood. That's who I need. I have to find out who that is, no matter what. Or this will all happen, or has been for nothing. I got to my feet, ran at the ghostly figure who stood with his back to me. What did I want from him? Could I even touch him? It didn't matter, because I jumped forward and grabbed his hand. Putting all my strength and anger into this gesture, I almost shredded his hand with my nails. The stranger twitched, but I couldn't see his face. All my attention was focused on his fingers. A man's hand, a silver ring with a tiger. A dubé. Devdas? I reached out to tear the hood off his head, but several hands pulled me away. He was now staring at me, and I could see him grinning. I know who you are. I know that you swore vengeance on us. All the dead suddenly turned to me. It's your fault. You killed us all. You should have died with the others. You don't deserve to live. Die! The dead were approaching in an endless stream. None of the living could help me, or couldn't even come closer. Ah, no. Amala. I knew I only had a few moments left before the first of the dead was going to get me. There was no way for me to escape. My mind was filled with fear, not for myself, but for my brother. If they killed me here, what's going to happen to him, to the others? No. I didn't notice how my body was suddenly filled with warm sensations of a familiar presence. All the creatures froze instantly. Oh, flashbang. He had arrived. Rita Shiva. Everything around us filled with a strange light and warmth as the deity slowly descended towards us. His handsome face was calm, but his black eyes twinkled with a seething rage that I knew he was about to unleash. Away! Go away! other shadows curling behind his broad back. His shadows. Like tamed animals, they jumped to Killian, Lima, and Kieran. They stayed close, protecting them from the faceless monsters.
How dare you touch what I'm supposed to protect? How dare you stand up against me? You disobeyed the gods once and paid dearly. Now you are going to pay again. You will be cursed forever. There will be no mercy for you. Only eternal pain.
Rita Shiva waved his hand mercilessly, and his servants rushed at the faceless dead. There was so much arrogance, cruelty, and power in that gesture. That's who he really was. Our Rattan. As the creatures charged at the dead, Rita Shiva waved his hand gracefully. Terrible cuts appeared on the necks of each corpse, like horrific new smiles. Black blood was flowing to the ground in rivers, while his shadows tore the faces apart, gnawing at them, reveling in their pain. I felt my knees tremble. I was about to lose consciousness from fear and exhaustion. Everything went dark, falling into the oblivion. Didn't feel like the worst way this could have ended. Darkness. Then warm hands gently grabbed me by my waist. Ah, okay then. Calm, caring, reliable, or dangerous, omnipotent, bloodthirsty.
Sleep. Don't think.
I immediately let go of the last thread of consciousness, and nothingness swallowed me. I like the art. It was a very interesting episode. There were some but let us complete it. When things repeat, it kind of irritates me, because it's like, well, she collapsed on top of Grant, right? And then 2 sentences later, and 2, I guess, screens later, it was she collapsed on top of Grant again. So, anyway. We got 4 independence, 1 loyalty, 6 respect, 2 rage, 3 kindness. Look at the diamonds! Alright, so without further ado, hopefully you did enjoy the episode. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also, there's a join and thanks features. Consider doing those to support the content, way of giving back, and whatnot. Be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, let me know your thoughts down below. So we're nearing the completion of this. We're halfway through. I know we took a little hiatus there. Pretty much I had been really doing a lot of these episodes. There for a little bit, I was doing them in kind of like every week. I was doing at least 1 episode, right? And I was trying really hard to play catch up. There for a minute there, we were doing them every other day or every couple days. So I was trying again to play catch up, as I've had to catch up with 3 seasons. So just think about that, right? So I had to play catch up over the course of a year. So on top of all the other content that I do, it's kind of really tough and difficult to play catch up in that, in that time. You also have to, please forgive me, but you also have to keep in mind that I have to continually keep doing choices, which is the main thing that we did start on this channel. And then Romance Club has come along. And as I've tried to shift over to that, I also have to do other content as well. So I do shorts to kind of do small, kind of things that maybe you guys want to entertain that are completely different content. I try and do long form videos, which are the super long like streams and whatnot of gameplay that you guys might enjoy. That is far more graphically enhanced games like Man of Medan, for instance, or Detroit Becomes Human, or things like that, which are kind of like a narrative-based thing where your choices actually do matter. And it's something that stays within the niche of what you guys like, which is, making choices that actually may or may not, in fact, affect the story. But in those types of games, you're not paying for diamonds. You're actually you're putting $60 down on a game. Let me be frank, that you are then playing, and your choices actually do make a difference for a lot of those games. And so I really do like covering those types of games, and that's something that I've always been the person who enjoys, like RPGs or things with really intricate, great stories. So it's, like I said, that's one of the reasons why we're kind of slowly turning towards, doing more RC, and I've been trying to do that here within this past week. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Friday alone, we had a minimum of 6 hours of reading with choices alone. And again, just go ask Christopher Sabbath or, any of these really, like, big voice actors how long they spend in a voice acting booth. They only spend a couple hours. Because it starts really taking a toll on its voice. So, Saturday I kind of took the day off. I only did one chapter of choices to finish it because we had not completely done everything on Friday. That's how intensive it is. So again, on days where I'm not doing choices, I'm trying to get out at least an episode of RC. So that way I'm also playing catch up, but also covering the new stuff. And then also a lot of you are requesting stuff too, and nothing wrong with that. I love it when you guys request things, but also leave comments and whatnot. But again, I'm playing catch up. So I thought I'd address all this in this video, especially if you've reached to the end. So please do understand. Otherwise, I'll get to more RC here later today, and then also Monday and Tuesday, and like I said, Wednesday and Fridays are usually dedicated to choices, unless there's nothing really going on, or bare minimum. But they're really hitting me this holiday season with a lot of stuff. So yeah, no, you might as well just discount Mondays and Friday, or excuse me, Wednesdays and Fridays. So yeah, just saying. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace out.